Hi, today we're going to look at how to write a story using IT, but more than just going onto a laptop or a computer and typing a Word document. The Australian curriculum specifically wants students from about years 3 to years 7 and onwards to use things like collaboration tools, to use cloud computing, and this activity allows for that to happen. So we're covering quite a lot of the ICT curriculum, plus also whatever you want to include in the Australian curriculum. Although we're writing a story, this tool, hopefully by the end of the video you'll see, this tool can be used for maths, for science, for geography, history, a plethora of things. It's only limited to your imagination. Like I said before, you don't have to have iPads or Android tablets. You can actually do this on a school bank of laptops, or you can do it on a bank of computers. Initially, it will take quite some time to set up. You will need a Google account, and we're going to go through some of the activities, some of the processes that you need to do to be able to get to that stage. However, I found this experience in my classroom, it has really engaged the students and enriched their learning in a different way than just me looking over their shoulder and marking as they go. The kids are highly engaged, they want to go home, they want to log in, and they want to continue writing their story, and I encourage them to do so. So let's have a go at writing a story using some fantastic IT tools.
Okay, let's show you how to do this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to google.com or google.com.au. Once we're there, you need to either sign in using a Google account. Now, I highly recommend creating a Classroom Google account. However, if you would like to use an existing email address, so you don't want to remember too many email addresses, you can actually sign up to Google using your existing email address, and it will allow you to use their services, and that's what will happen in this case. So I'm going to show you a little screenshot and circle the bit where you need to sign up and log in using your existing email address. Google will allow you to do that. So I've created a Google account for my class. Every class member has the same Google account. For those older students, possibly in year 6, maybe year 7, if you want to get them to use their own Google account, then that's fine as well. This works just as well with that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to need to sign in to Google. I'm going to go up here to sign in, and I've already got because I've used this computer before, it's got my email address. I'm going to type in my password and sign in. Fantastic. Now the service I'm going to be using is called Google Drive. It's up here where this 9 dots are. If I click on that, it gives me all the different Google services that I can use. In this case, it's Google Drive. Now Google Drive is cloud computing. That's what they talk about in the ICT curriculum, getting students to use cloud computing and to try and understand cloud computing. Cloud computing is very, very powerful, and it's the way we as a society are moving. It allows for very deep collaboration, and we're going to be using that deep collaboration today. So I'm going to go to my Google Drive. Okay, so in my Google Drive, I've created folders. Each of the folders is for each student. Now, every time a student does some work, they can either save it to the Google Drive, they can view it in their Google Drive, so on and so forth. So I can click Create Folder, and I'm going to create a folder for each of my students. Let's say there's a David in my class, and create another folder. Let's say there's a John in my class. Okay, so once we've done that, I'm going to now ask my students to create their stories. Now, each student has their own file. So what I need to ask them to do is I need to go to the Google Drive app. You can get Google Drive app for Android. You can get Google Drive app for iOS, which is your Apple, your iPads. And you can also go to drive.google.com on a PC, and it works exactly the same way. Once you've got your Google Drive app, so I'm going to show you this on the iPad. Once you've got the Google Drive apps, and I'm going to show you on the iPad, you're going to go to Google Drive app. Now what I'll do is I'll show you how to do this on the iPad first. I'm going to ask Andrew to help me. What Andrew's going to do is he's going to log in. So click on Get Started, and it will ask you for your credentials. So as Andrew's typing that in, I'm going to talk a little bit more. So again, you can go to either use the iPad, and then in a moment what I'll do is I'll actually show you how to use it on a PC, just so you're not too confused. And it works exactly the same way. Also, what cloud computing is, and you'll see the demonstration in a moment, cloud computing allows you to track changes in real time. So as Andrew is going to be typing his story, I'm going to be able to see everything he does, and I'm going to be able to comment and collaborate with him, and he can comment and collaborate back. Fantastic. So Andrew can see all of the folders that I've created, and he's going to go to his folder by selecting it. Okay, so he's already got a story in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just get rid of his story so he can start a new story. So Andrew's just going to pull the middle of the screen using his finger down, and that's going to refresh it. And he doesn't have anything in his drive. Fantastic. Now, what Andrew's going to do is he's going to create a new document. So on the top right hand side is a little plus button. Andrew's going to press the plus button. Here he can create a spreadsheet, he can do a drawing, so on and so forth. We'll do that in later video demonstrations, but for the meantime he's going to go to a document. Okay, now he's going to put the title of his story. Wonderful. And as Andrew brings up his story, I can also see that it comes up on my computer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my computer. So as a teacher, what I see. So I've got my Google Drive here, and let's say I log in as John. Once I go to drive.google.com, I log into using my Gmail address. I can go to John. If I want to create a document, I can go up here to Create, Document. It brings up a new tab, and there we go. This is my wonderful story. And I can start typing. So that's how you do it on a PC. Okay, now let's go back, and I'm going to show you a split screen between what Andrew sees and what I see. So Andrew's going to start typing his story now. Now, as he's typing his story, on my computer, I can go, okay, well, let's see how Andrew's doing. So I'm going to click on his story. I'm going to load it up. Now, as you can see, in real time, I can see everything that he's typing. So, very easily, I know how much he's written. I can see if there's, quick glance over it, I can see if there's any errors, anything that I need to give him direct feedback, explicit teaching for. He's done a few spelling mistakes, and that's fine. That's what I've asked Andrew to do for me in this example. It's a very simple story. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, and this is where the power of Google Drive comes into it, and where a lot of the collaboration can work, and you can work really collaboratively using this software. So Andrew's finished his story, and he's maybe thinking about what he's going to write next. I can come along and I can say, okay, Andrew, there are 2 spelling errors here, so I'm going to highlight what I want him to have a look at, and up here is the little comment box. It says Insert Comment. I'm going to click on that box, and it allows me to put a comment according to this. So I'm going to say, you need to check your spelling for these words. Now if you take a look at what on Andrew's iPad, it should have highlighted what I'm about to edit. So once I click on comment, okay, now the yellow on Andrew's iPad means that there's a comment ready to be checked. So what Andrew's going to do is on the top right hand side there is a little comment button. He's going to click on that, and it comes up with my comment. It says, you need to check your spelling for these words. Andrew's going to press the comment, and he can either reply or resolve it. So if he's unsure, he can reply, and he can type something in, say for example, I don't know how to spell those words. Wonderful. Okay, now Andrew's just going to click back to his story. Okay. Now there should be a reply button or something to press, maybe return. There we go. And it's come up on my computer, saying I don't know how to spell these words. Again, I can continue the thread. Tim is a noun. I think you meant time. Also, you need to think of a different way to spell T-H-E-I-R, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's just one example of how you can go about helping your students with their stories. You can see what they're doing in real time. You can collaborate with them. You can share with them. Kids can go and, if you want to, kids can go and have a look at other people's stories. They might want to highlight things. They might want to suggest to people, hey, maybe you should try writing this. Maybe you should try writing that. I know in my classroom, a typical student would normally ask to, or normally only be able to write about 1 to 2 pages, but at the moment these guys are so engaged in being able to use this technology to write their stories. They're able to put down ideas in different orders. They can sit down and they can talk to each other about what they're doing, and it's a fantastic learning environment, learning collaborative environment. I've also got students going home and asking to take their Google Drive account home so that they can work on their stories at home. It also means that there's much less work for me to collect at the end of the day to mark, because I've already got it ready to go. So that's just one example of how you can use Google Drive in your classroom. Now don't forget, we're looking at collaboration, we're looking at cloud computing, and we're also covering many different aspects to do with English, to do with, if you wanted to do something with history, you can create a timeline that all of them have to use pictures from the internet to use, and we're going to go through some of these examples later on, but this is a very basic idea as to how to use Google Drive. Like I said at the very beginning, it does take some time to set up, so have a think about what you want to prioritize. Give it a go. It might not work exactly the way you want it to work the first time. I suggest even maybe finding a very capable student in your class and just asking them to start typing a document up. If there's some work that you want to type up, have a go at doing it with one student before trying it with 30, because it can become quite overwhelming, particularly when there's a lot of issues in your class to do with the technical side. I can't log in, or I forgot how to spell this, or I don't know how to do that. So that's just one way to use Google Drive in your classroom. I hope that you have a go at it. If you do and you want to share your experiences, please feel free to comment. If you would like to share this video to anyone, please feel free to do so. And there we go.
Well, there you have it. I hope this video wasn't too long for you. If it's something that you think that you can implement in your classroom, I really recommend that you have a go. Please let me know how you go in the feedback. If you like this, or if you want to share it with other people in the Australian or even the world community, that would be fine. Until next time, Mr. Lee.